Time now for a couple of guys who love to come back for success on our show and our trader game, Top That Trade. Joining us now, Alan Nuckman of Agora Financial and Phil Flynn, a Fox Business Network contributor. Here we go with round number one, moving markets. The market has made epic moves this year to the upside and to the downside. What's your top trading lesson?
Well, I've learned not to think, but just trade. Trade what you see. These are incredibly powerful trends that there's money to be made. All we want is the markets to move, and it's our job to sort it out. It's not about being right, which what you think might happen. It's about making money, and you've got to remember that. The markets are going to move, and we want to do the best we can.
I like when Alan doesn't think. That's amazing, but he's absolutely right. You know what? I can't tell you. And he's really hitting something that's critical for a lot of traders. I hear this all the time. You know, I hear people saying, hey, they're printing all this money. The stock market's got to crash. Or, you know, hey, gold is got to go up or it's got to go down because of what's going on with the Federal Reserve. And sometimes they may be right, but we might not live long enough for them to be right. Sometimes the markets,
all of us might not live.
Have a different vision, right? A different vision of what's going on. And that's why I think a lot of people, for example, we had one of the best stock market comebacks in history recently from the COVID virus. We had one of the biggest stock market comebacks since the financial crisis. And a lot of people missed out because they had preconceived notions of the way they viewed the world. The market sometimes views it differently.
Round number two, subtraction by addition. Pro traders tend to know when it's time to get out of a losing position. When is it right to add to a loser and hope for a profitable comeback?
I think the only time you add to losers is when your plan ahead of time had a plan to add to losers, okay? For example, there's a lot of strategies in the market where you don't want to miss out, where you can say, hey, you know, look at the price of corn, for example. You know, it's at, $3 a bushel. I don't think it can go much lower, but if it does, I'm going to average down if it hits $2.75 a bushel, and then I'll average it down at $2.50. You don't usually want to add on to a losing position when you're in a losing position to try to make it back. That's gambling, right?
That's called scaling in. What Phil was talking about is called scaling in. You put in many smaller positions than you probably would, and if it does, continue to go against you, you continue to buy and average your cost. But again, the idea of doubling down just because a trade didn't work, that makes you a loser, whereas taking a loss is not that bad of a thing.
Right. And, it's one of the most tempting things to do, and a lot of traders do get into trouble doing that. The way to avoid that is have a preconceived plan, and that's the best way to avoid that.
Control your risk and know where you're going to get out.
Round number three, silver situation. Silver has been outdone by gold's hot run. What do you see for the future of silver's shine?
Well, silver still has more upside. Obviously, it got to $50 just a decade ago. So it's got a lot more upside potential. Now, is it going to realize that with gold? I don't know. But I think the metals in general, if you look at aluminum, you look at steel, you look at iron ore, I think those could play catch up as well. So there is a lot of opportunity, even though silver hasn't done it yet.
I agree. And actually, we do think silver is going to get to that all-time high before this is all said and done.
Here's your bonus round question for today. I'm going to give you a list of corporations that have made tremendous comebacks. One of the names might not belong on this list when compared to the other corporations. Which one is it? Is it Apple, FedEx, Reddit, or Sunoco?
I don't think Sunoco had a full recovery.
I'd have to go with Alan. I think it is Sunoco because...
Stop right there, Phil, because the answer is Sunoco. You are both winners today. Thanks so much for coming back on our show week after week. Business First AM will be back right after the break. More Business First AM. Check us out on social media. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And go to businessfirstam.com for where to see our show on TV.